Hey guys, I'm back, and this is going to be another Dota 1 commentary replay slash whatever from the GMPGL Southeast Asian Grand Finals. Now, I know it's been a couple weeks, but I said I'd finished casting this tournament, so I might as well. There haven't been any new Dota 1 replays, so after these Dota 1 replays are exhausted, don't expect to see too much more Dota 1 content unless I manage to sort of get another person alongside me. But anyways, hopefully I'll be a bit more active. No promises because I've already made and broken too many promises in the past. But I will finish this tournament. I think there's only 2 or 3 more games left, and this is a match between Pacific and CnS. And I think this is the losers bracket since CnS did just lose, or maybe the last match was in the group stages. I don't know. It's been a while since I covered this tournament, so my apologies. But anyway, this is again still 6.78, and this is Southeast Asian Dota. So don't expect to see the most standard picks and bans, but if they are picks and bans, expect them to see a bit more 6-7-8 style, like Tree, like Bat. Not Drow, because that seems like a Filipino exclusive pick, because they really like those early mid-game pressure lineups that really just take advantage of her damage. But I don't know, Drow has just not been winning, and I think that's sort of a fault with the hero rather than how she's being played. Although the way she has been being played, which is Shadowblade into skip BKB, is I don't think the right way to go about it, but so far, this seems like a standard 6-8 draft. Nick's first pick definitely faded out, but the Filipinos, again, love to fight, and they love to fight ASAP, so they're going to pick up that Nyx, get a fast level 6, and I think it will be a mid Nyx, but it could be a support. I'm not too sure. Anyways, hopefully you'll excuse my rustiness for the commentary because it has been a while, but again, not going to make much more promises, but I will try to be more active. Might play a new game soon because, again, getting a little bit sick of Dota, so might try a new game. I don't know, might play Rogue Legacy because Warren said it was pretty good. Unfortunately, I didn't buy it when it was on sale because I wasn't too sure if I wanted to get it, so I have to pay the full $15, but I might just play that anyway, so if I play it, I will upload it, so don't be too sad if there's different games besides Dota and Dota 2 on the channel. And I might try some Ladder Warcraft 3 just because I'm getting a little bit tired of Dota 2 and Dota in general. But we'll see. Might just be time for a bit of a gaming break. And I haven't really played any Dota in a while, so we'll see how it goes. But back to the picks and bans. Silencer being picked up. Really an interesting ban because even in the Filipino scene, I don't know if he's necessarily that strong because I think the reason why he's banned out is because of his ultimate. But keep in mind, the ultimate in the early levels does have a 2-minute or longer cooldown, and the fights are happening so frequently in the Filipino scene that I don't know how big of an impact. But I do think that Global Silence before BKB is the best ultimate in the game. Of course, once you get the BKB, you can dispel the Global Silence, and then, well, that's unfortunate, but if you BKB and then the Global Silence comes back up, it still is ridiculously powerful. So Global Silence, I think, is probably the best ultimate in the game at specific times. Of course, you can say about any ultimate game. If you get an Enigma 5-man black hole, you can say, well, Enigma black hole is the best ultimate in the game. But then Global Silence, in all aspects of the game, is at least top 5. Still getting a bit used to this mic, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, Doom, really powerful against Lifestealer. I think this is to protect the Lifestealer because I don't really see too much Doom in the Filipino scene. Weaver, very strong in the Filipino scene because he's very survivable and can participate in all manner of fights. Bat, very strong 6-8. Drow, a Filipino niche pick. Shadow Demon, another Filipino niche pick. Templar Assassin, bit of a niche pick, but I think it's more so that he does ridiculously well against any of the heroes on the side of Pacific, but they're going to back it up with a Phantom Lancer, and Phantom Lancer has fallen out of favor completely in Dota 2 because he takes way too long, and mobility is incredibly important for Dota 2 in these games because you want to have mobile carries so they can join fights ASAP, and if they're not mobile, they better be survivable, and Phantom Lancer isn't survivable or mobile until you manage to get some big items online, and by that time, it's a bit tricky, but if you can protect the Phantom Lancer, he is, of course, probably the best late game carry in the game. Well, I still think Void's a bit better, but Void, he's a lot less reliable. But Pacific sensing that, respecting that, gonna get rid of the Keeper of the Light, so there goes the strong dual lane combination, and What this means is that we won't be seeing Trine versus Trine action on the bottom lane. We might see an aggressive Trine challenge because they do have a long range initiator in Jakiro, but Rubik, he doesn't really do that much damage in Trine. Jakiro doesn't really do that much damage until level 2. Lifestealer does want to get level 2, but if they have some sort of range backup, then I don't know if this Trine can necessarily challenge Phantomlights or Trine because they'll need to get some early detection, and Phantomlights' nuke is quite cheap, so he can cast that pretty freely on squishy support like Rubik. Those Phantomlights or nukes can add up, and especially if you have a Naga to back it up, and I think this will definitely be a support Naga. Looks like it'll be a Magnus solo mid, and Magnus solo mid versus Puck I think is even for the most part, but Magnus has a bit of problems because he wants to get the Arcane Boots, Bottle, and Blink, whereas Puck can sort of skip the treads if he really needs to rush that Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, Magnus sort of needs the Arcane Boots no matter what, and meanwhile the last pick is going to be a Skywrath Mage. So this could potentially be a solo Skywrath Mage. I'm more inclined to believe this will be a support Skywrath Mage with a Nerubian Assassin solo lane, but no, it's going to be a double courier Nerubian Assassin. He's just going to pick up 2 GG branches, and how are they going to lane this? Is Skywrath Mage? No, he didn't buy anything major, so looks like it'll just be dual lanes. Interesting decision, as dual lanes in 678 definitely not that strong, but we'll see how it fares up against a Jakiro Rubik deal tri-lane. I really don't think this dual lane of Naga as well as Nerubian Assassin can really do anything because they're double melee. And these heroes, they're very much level 6 support, so there's a couple qualifications for being supports. And I think this is sort of the reason why Alliance has had a bit of problems. So you have strong early game supports like Crystal Main who can just be active ASAP, Shadow Demon who's can't really farm in the jungle like Crystal Main, which is why Crystal Main is a top tier support in 679 in Dota 2, because she can roam, she can jungle, she can just get a lot of farm. Other supports like, God, it's been a while since I've actually watched a Dota 2 game. Visage, he can harass effectively. He can actually gank reasonably well, but he's pretty difficult to kill because his range, and he's ridiculously powerful in lane. But these two supports, Nerubian Assassin as well as the Naga Sign, they're not especially powerful in lane. They really need to get that level 6 ASAP, as Bounty Hunter is going to cut off the creep wave. There is Dust, so this could definitely be the death of the Bounty Hunter, as Riptide was used, and they are going to use a couple of spells, as here comes another Arcane Bolt. One more hit will spell the end of the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter ran into tower range, so he did end up dying. You think he was still dispelled by Dust, which is why the tower could see him. I don't know if the tower... Well, I guess the tower did have enough range, so if Bounty Hunter maybe ran a bit closer, but then he would have run into the tier 2. So good recognition. Big curious to see why Bounty Hunter actually went for that creep pull, because that is definitely not standard whatsoever. And a Bounty Hunter, again, he's a level 6 hero himself. He doesn't really do too much. Of course, he can potentially gank the mid lane, but Magnus is not the most secure mid lanes to gank with a melee, because you do have Skewer to worry about. Meanwhile, Magnus decided to get 1 point to Empower. I like this build quite a bit, because it will allow you to get that last hit going. Of course, in the Western scene, how Magnus would be run was just get 3 branches and rush the bottle with a couple of tangos being pulled to you, but this is more of a self-sufficient Magnus, and this is because the Filipinos do like to get the double curse, so they can't really afford to pull the regen nearly as much, as Rubik is going to get harassed, so these dual lanes are just not working out thus far. Rubik going to be driven away, and looks like Nerubian Assassin has managed to level 2 surprisingly enough, so bit of an interesting start thus far, but if I had to give an advantage, I would have to go to Scourge already, because they managed to get an early kill. They're securing their Phantomlights free farm, and there's really not too much a Bounty Hunter can do to stop Phantomlights. So right now, the cards are definitely in the hand of the Scourge, but heroes like Puck, if they manage to get a lot of farm ASAP, they can definitely turn things around in jiffy. What I don't like is leaving a Phantomlighter by himself, as it looks like the Rubik is just being driven back. Skywrath Mage already forced to use a couple of nukes, but we're going to see a rotation. Naga Siren does come in, has the net as well, but Telekinesis is going to preserve of the Rubik for now, but Naga is just too fast, too furious, and here comes the Arcane Bolt. Rubik does manage to snag the rune, but that is already a double kill for the Scourge supports without any pulls, so they're going to get a nice bit of gold. They're also going to get a bit of extra farm, but Puck managed to get a solo kill on the Magnus in the mid lane. Helps reduce that a little bit. But so far, Phantomlights are getting absolute free farm. Of course, the supports have been forced to rotate quite a bit, so Phantomlights are probably being challenged a bit more than like by the Bounty Hunter than he would otherwise supposed to. But in exchange, Nerubian Assassin getting a little bit of farm as well, because it's just dual lane compared to a dual lane on this side as well. Well, it looks like it was just a roaming Rubik, as Rubik realizes he is a level 6 support. He wants to get that spell steal up ASAP. He wants to get level 2. So he's going to need to go into the jungle, get those safe levels, and we'll see if they can get the pulls going. But the pull camp has been blocked by a nice Observer Ward. So Nubian Assassin, because the creep pull has not been properly managed, or the creep equilibrium has not been properly managed, will get some free experience, and Rubik won't be able to get that free support pull, which won't get shared, because this is, again, 6, 7, 8. Meanwhile, we're going to see engagement on the bottom lane. Looks like the Nerubian Assassin did die because of the triple stun combination. Jakiro's level 3, so Nerubian Assassin has to be very careful. I'm not too sure what level Wounds is, but looks like Bounty Hunter was sealed, and he might very well die. He's going to salve up in the meantime. Can he actually get out of there? I think he was dusted as well. But here comes the teleport in. Skywrath Mage is going to die because Skywrath Mage, of course, has 1 armor, so he takes a lot of physical damage. And Rubik managed to help get that kill, so he already managed to hit a very fast level 3 after being ground out to a very, very tough start. Meanwhile, Phantom just picked up a Quelling Blade, so he wants to get that early farm going ASAP. He wants to rotate in jungle. Of course, the illusion bug on Quelling Blade doesn't work any longer, but if he needs to rotate the jungle, he will be able to farm a lot faster. And of course, Phantom is an interesting hero because he has so much random variation in his damage, so if you time some last hits, you could get a bit of unluckiness with the draw. But Rubik going to get rotated in. Naga has haste, and his Riptide will be used, but Naga, I don't know if she necessarily has enough mana. I know she doesn't, which is why she didn't go in. She saw the Jakiro as well, but now we're going to see a bit of engagement on the Puck, who is sealed up. Here comes a Shockwave. Puck is most certainly going to die, but a 2-man Ice Path, brilliant rotation with that Jakiro, and Puck will escape to safety. Just going to bottle back up, and that is a bit of an annoyance factor, as Scout Mage going to get Dream Coil, going to get lifted, as Puck is sealed once again. Puck could very well die to a Shockwave, but Ice Path once again, as Puck is actually going to go in on the Magnus. Magnus does not really have enough mana. Phase shift by the Puck, as Puck gonna be able to escape, but Magnus will be able to live. Unfortunately, his bottle looks like it'll be coming right back, so bit of some good news for the Magnus. Meanwhile, Puck is forced to burn through all the bottle chargers, so Magnus will have a bit of a health and mana advantage for the next couple seconds. But so far, this mid lane going definitely in favor of the Sentinel. As bottom lane, Leicester versus Nerubian Assassin. Leicester, of course, does not care about Spike Carapace whatsoever. Not going to go for the minus that we see so often in 6, 7, 9. Just going to go for an all-out fighting build, which is what the Filipinos love to do more than anything else. Man, my commentator voice, sounding a bit prepubescent rather than my normal voice, whatever. As we're going to see some more rotation. Phantomites are still far away. Bounty is about to hit level 6, and Leicester is a decent carry in this game because he fights so much earlier than other carries, and Lifestealer, Bounty Hunter, Vest Bombs are definitely viable. These are the 250 health regain Tranquil Boots, which you can activate, so definitely a strong boot choice because they can be disassembled, and that's why the Ring of Protection was picked up. So good item choice with that. Phantomites, it's important to keep him at full HP, especially as Bounty Hunter is reaching that level 6. And now you can see the supports on the side of the Scourge starting to stay very close because they know Bounty Hunter is about to hit level 6. Leicester could potentially rotate in. Is going to go for the Armwood build as well, but they need to be there to protect the Phantomites at all costs. And they do have a good anti-Lifesteal lineup with the Silence coming in from the Skywrath Mage, with the Net by the Naga, with the Song of the Siren. So very decent odds as Dust going to be used on the Bounty Hunter once again. He's going to get lifted by the Rubik, but Bounty Hunter is just going to try to fight his way out, try to do whatever damage he could. But unfortunately, that was just simply not enough. Phantomites are taking a lot of edge to the meanwhile, but the track went on the Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage is going to come back in with another Arcane Bolt, but Boot Speed Rubik should be okay. So good engagement for the tri-lane on the top lane thus far for the Scourges. They're going to try to hunt down the Rubik. Rubik not that quick because Naga does have very high base movement speed, but will be quick enough to escape. But we're going to see an immediate teleport back by the Bounty Hunter. Actually, we're going to see rotation by the Puck, but it looks like the supports are already a bit away. Puck trying to flutter his wings, has the phase boot so he can catch up a bit faster, has the Dream Coil, so this could be huge. But we're going to see a nice split up by the Scourge supports. Going to use the Dream Coil on the Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage trying to deny himself, won't be successful, as that was a track kill for 3 heroes. Definitely recouping some of the cost of the TP, as meanwhile Naga could potentially be hunted down, as Bounty Hunter won't be able to catch up. Instead, going to track the Magnus through whatever burst damage you can, and then just go right back to the lane. But Phantomites all the while is free farming, as is the Nyx. So some interesting trades going on across the map, but so far, I think the Sentinel are slightly favored because their offlane hit level 6, Meanwhile, the Scourge's offlane has not hit level 6, and Nervous Assassin wants to be ganking ASP while the supports are still incredibly weak, which they will be for quite a bit. Meanwhile, Phantomizer, we'll see what build he goes for. Southeast Asian Phantomizers do like to go for Radiance sometimes, so that could be an option, but I think in this game, with so much aggression going on by the Sentinel heroes, I do think of fighting Diffusal Blade or drums into Diffusal Blade Rush could be useful. Maybe a casual VIP booster into Diffusal Blade will definitely be very useful. All of these items are quite good, as Bounty Hunter is still level 6, just harassing the Phantomizer as best he can. Meanwhile, Skywrath Mage only level 4, so if we just check out the levels really quickly, you can see that Scourge are a bit lacking, but Magnus is going to rotate and going to spy out Rubik. This Absorber spying out the Rubik the entire time. Free kill indeed. As, well, the telekinesis, I thought Skywrath Mage was just camping, but the awkward pathing on Dota, or the awkward hitboxes, means that Skywrath Mage is actually camped out on top of this, as he is going to be there for quite a bit. Doesn't have any room for a TP scroll unless he manages to use one of the 2 couriers. But it looks like Jakiro's just going to wait in the wings, wants to get a for sure kill, rather than risking his life, because Skywrath Mage as a support still does a lot of damage. Going to see an Ice Path initiation, as Skywrath Mage will be able to just pop the seal and then just go right back to it, because Nagasiren's going to rotate and cast the Riptide as well. Will be able to get in range for net, does just do right that, as now Magnus is going to come and cast his Shockwave. This Skywrath Mage ward is ridiculously good for the Scourge, as they are able to kill off 2 supports without too much of a problem, and right now there's seemingly no response. We're not going to see rotation by the Lifestealer, because it's difficult for him to get back out of there. Instead, we're going to see rotation by the Puck and the Bounty Hunter. They're going to get a track kill, but still, that cost them 2 supports, as that was very, very ugly for the Sentinel. But now Puck is going to rotate in, has Magic Wand. Will he cast Dreamcoil? As we're going to see silence going on the Nervous Assassin. Dreamcoil will be used as well, and that is an easy kill. Another track kill for the Puck, as Puck has a mega kill, has a double kill. And we'll see if he goes for Fast Blink Dagger, if he goes for a Dagon Rush, as he has a mega kill and has spent a lot of his gold, so I'm not too sure what he'll go for just yet, so I guess we'll find out together. Meanwhile, despite me sort of nagging on the Scourge support levels, the Sentinel support levels are quite weak as well, and they have fed a bit as well, and they haven't been able to shut down the PL, who's starting to get the juxtaposed illusions going for the AUI/Eternal Envy Yasha Rush, so wants to amplify the firing speed and wants to go into the jungle ASP, as we're going to see an engagement in the middle lane. Here comes a concussive shot onto the Bounty Hunter, as Bounty Hunter does have the track going onto the Naga Siren. They will kill the Rubik off yet again. Puck is going to blink in, trying to kill off the Naga Siren, but won't be nearly fortunate enough. Will Puck be able to escape? No, that amplified ancient seal damage and the Magnus Shockwave just too much. Bounty Hunter is still waiting in the wings, but Nervous Assassin is tracking him all the while with the Vendetta. And all the while, I'm just wondering, where is this Lifestealer? He needs to be in these early game engagements, because Lifestealer versus Phantomizer is an abysmal matchup for the Lifestealer, because Lifestealer does not build into AoE, and you don't really want to build a Mjolnir or Battle Fury on him at any stage, because that does not give him any stats. That doesn't really give him much plus damage either, that just gives him attack speed. So, well, I mean, I'm talking about Mjolnir, not really Battle Fury, but Battle Fury, I mean, what does it get besides plus damage? Doesn't really need the mana regen. So right now things are going very well for the Scourge. It's 8-8, but they managed to end a mega kill streak on the Puck. Of course, keep in mind kill streaks in this version are still not as good as kill streaks in 6-7-9, but the longer time you can shut down the Puck, the faster Magnus gets his Blink Dagger, and Magnus has only died once in this game. We're going to see rotation in as they don't get the right track off. Phantom Lancer just a bit too fast. Did see the rotation in by the Bounty Hunter. I think did spy with the tower, and now Phantom Lancer is just still farming up past that Yasha, and we'll see what he decides to go for next. As Phantom Lancer will be caught, and this is the real Phantom Lancer, but now we're going to see rotation by the Naga. The counter initiation will be popped, an Ancient Seal, Mana Flare will be used. Phantom Lancer is still tracked though, so this will be one track kill, but that wasn't a Bounty Hunter in the vicinity. Well, I think he still gets a track gold, as Leicester only gets plus 50 gold, but all the while Magnus kills off the Puck yet again. Now Magnus is on a dominating spree, as Naga Siren is going to be Ice Path, not yellow 6, so can't cast Song, and Leicester, this is the power of the Leicester in their game, going to cast the open wounds, but now he's going to back off because Nervous Assassin is here, and Leicester will die. This is really bad news for the Sentinel, as Leicester is trying to desperately get into a creep to infest. Will he be successful? Yes, he is. He's going to pop right out. The question is, can he escape? He has the phase boots, but we're going to see rotation by the Magnus. Will he cast the RP? I think he used it for the Puck. Magnus actually went for a Midas play, so won't have the arcane boots. Doesn't really have too much mana to work with. and instead we'll just back off Bounty Hunter in the vicinity. So I think that did slightly favor the Sentinel because they got a track kill, but they lost the puck yet again. Magnus is starting to become a bit of an issue. Went for the minus, so he's a bit more late game oriented. But I think this play is good because no towers have been taken just yet, as Fanwitz is going to get a solo kill on the Jakiro. He has more than enough mana and will be able to cast one more spray lights. Those Tranquil Boots and the phase or the Yasha gave him more than enough move speed to chase down the slow and steady Jakiro. Meanwhile, Puck, after that incredible early game start, starting to have a bit of problems as Magnus will be tracked up. Orb will dodge the Vendetta for now, but now Puck is just going to get absolutely imploded upon. They're going to trade 2 for 1 right here, unless Bounty Hunter can go invisible yet again. Is there a dust? Bounty Hunter is in range. He is dusted. Can he escape? No, he won't. So much damage being thrown out by the Scourge supports. This game is just absolutely nuts, as it's already 24 kills in 13 minutes. Definitely not the game I want to come back to commentating, but it's been excitement all throughout the game. So let's talk about good news and bad news. Good news for the Sentinel is Leicester hasn't died. Bad news is that Puck, after the Blink Dire, has not gotten any more kills and has actually died twice. Bounty has been able to get a couple track kills, so his golden take is not too shabby. But Phantom has only died once this game. He's still having a safe time farming up, and with the early Quelling Blade purchase can just keep farming up in the jungle, and with the Yasha, his illusions get more, well, they get more agility to attack faster. Technically, they don't get the additional attack speed, but they can just rotate from camp to camp, and now they don't have to expose themselves in the lane. So this is the power of the Yasha first build. If you go for something like a Diffusal Blade, you won't get nearly as much damage. Well, Yasha is cheaper, and Diffusal Blade's 1100 gold more expensive. But the moon speed is very important because it allows you to rotate to the camps a bit faster, and is overall, for a cheaper item that helps you farm faster, why the hell wouldn't you get it? Puck, the Sentry Ward has been placed. Will Puck go in? He does auto-attack the Nubian Assassin. Big mistake, as that gave away the bait, but they had no idea that the Scourge support was in such close proximity, as Magnus is here, has the Arcane Boots, and now he can start making his way towards the dagger. And again, this Midas play is working out marvelously for the Magnus, because I think Midas is only really bad if you're getting pressured very early on, but the push coming in from the Sentinel is not too threatening. They don't have the strongest pushers outside Liquid Fire Jakiro. And Leicester was able to burst down tower. Leicester is going to go for a Shadow Blade, or a Lothar's Edge, as it's called in Dota 1. Not too sure what the point is, because the Scourge have been more than willing to buy dust to shut down the Bounty Hunter. And Leicester will be faster. He does a bit more damage, has a bit more attacks. Bounty Hunter is going to get caught yet again, as Puck is going to blink in. Will he drop the coil on just one? The Stolen Impale will be more than enough, as now Song of the Siren won't even be used, as Naga Siren, will she be able to escape? No, the Ice Path was perfectly layered, as that long casting point from the Naga Siren ultimate definitely came out to bite her in the ass, as Magnus, the RP was threatened, as Puck is just going to be able to barely escape. Has to be careful, but does have 15 Magic Wand charges. So he should probably just use that to get himself up to a bit more mana, because if he gets stunned, he will die, and which is why Nerve Assassin will rotate in right now. And now he's mana burnt. Well, I think he should pop the Magic Wand rather than take any more risks. He's going to use the bottle instead, going to use another phase shift, as this is a 2-man dive. Will he use the Magic Wand yet? He doesn't have the coil because he already used it in a previous engagement. But we're going to see rotation in by the Rubik. The phase shift will dodge a Shockwave. Bit of an awkward traveling time in Dota 1. Pretty easy to dodge stuff in that game, as, well, no more spell steal for the Rubik, as it was on cooldown. Mana Burn going to be popped on the Puck. Now is the time to use Magic Wand. Is going to do just that. Here comes the Telekinesis into a silence, but they don't have anything to follow it up with, as these Sentinel heroes were able to kill off another tower. Meanwhile, we're going to see Naga come in. Macro Power does so much damage to the Nerve Assassin. 60-second cooldown, more than able to use that damage at this stage, but unfortunately he's out of mana. Meanwhile, Bounty Hunter fishes the drums. Nyack's gonna finish the Lothar's Edge. Phantom Lancer is under the cover of a Sentry Ward, and considering Phantom Lancer is saving for a lot of gold, this could potentially be a Radiance Rush on the PL. Unfortunately, can I see? It is a Radiance Rush, has 3.5k gold, and Radiance Rush against Puck, against all these squishy heroes, gonna be remarkably useful, as Bounty Hunter is a very squishy offlane hero. He's not like a Elder Titan, he's not like a, or I guess a Torrent Chieftain as it's called in this game. He's not like a Clockwork. Bounty is squishy, even though he has drums and will probably build into a BKB, as the track goes down to the PL. Here comes the Rage to dispel the bit of extra slow, and PL is going to die such a significant death. How much gold was the PL banking? Oh, he had the Radiance gold. That is so unfortunate. Had the Relic gold. He didn't have the courier parked at the secret shop. No way he knew that gank was coming outside this one ward, but Bounty Hunter came from here. Nyx came from here. No ward to spot out that movement. So now I think this is time for Magnus to shine. They managed to get one tower off, which helps recoup some of the cost of the PL death, as looks like Magnus could potentially be in a bit of a bad situation. But Naga Siren's here, has the Song of Siren to cast, gonna cast a double man Riptide, as there's the Song of Siren. Gonna need to rotation in by Magnus, as here comes Skylight Mage as well, wants to get a bit of an ultimate online. Will they be able to get an RP? They get a 2-man RP. Puck is here, gets a Blink Silence, but no coil to follow it up. Here comes the double kill immediately. Puck is gonna die as well, uses the Dagon, gonna face shift, but wasn't able to kill anything. Lifesteal going ham, and that was one track kill at the very least. We'll be able to get a second as Naga Siren a bit too slow. Naga Siren got a mirror image dodge, and the track was on the wrong hero, but they still managed to get the Naga Siren in the end. Will they be able to follow up on the Nubian Assassin? Nubian Assassin has a DD, gonna bottle back up, but all the while PL is still farming away. Who came out ahead? It's a 3-for-3 with one track kill, but considering that Phantom Lights is still farming up, I do favor the Scourge slightly, but now with the Nubian Assassin, I definitely won't favor them. Are we going to see a kill? Here comes the Shuriken toss. The Jakiro responds at the worst time. Lifestealer going to chase with the Lothar's Edge. Lothar's Edge Lifestealer, new meta. Nyx, never so proud to have that Lothar's Edge. And usually, I'm not the biggest fan of Magic Stick Lifestealer, but in this game, considering it's all the mana you can get to fuel the Shadow Blades or the Lothar's Edge, it's more than appropriate. Unfortunately, Phantom Lights was not in the fight. He's going to be able to farm with the Relic. He's going to get more farm. He has the Relic. And now he's a ticking time bomb. Only 300 gold away from finishing that Radiance. He was able to farm the jungle. Able to farm so much. He managed to get the track off. Nice observation by the Bounty Hunter as Puck is here. Puck is going to get there. He has the Blink Silence and also has a Dagon despite him dying as he used it in the previous engagement as well. So another kill on the Phantom Lights are going to slow down his Radiance. Only lost about 200 gold, so not the biggest loss. But this map control loss is so much more important for the Scourge. As Skewer gonna miss completely, Puck blinks away to safety. Lifestealer gonna come in with the Lothar's Edge, but gonna run right under a Sentry. He did pop the Rage, so he will be okay for now. Can't be silenced, and he will just be held in place. But now the Scourge are on full retreat. We're gonna see rotation by the Nubian Assassin. Gonna immediately kill off the Bounty. Such a high value kill. No more tracks, no additional move speed. And this is the cue for the Sentinel to back the heck out. They use a Dream Call as well. Jakiro gonna be caught out. Jakiro is definitely dead, as Shockwave was stolen by the Rubik. Jakiro is not dead just yet, as Phantom Lancer is not yet here. Here comes the engagement. Looks like the telekinesis was enough to prolong the life of the Puck, as Phantom Lancer will just respawn by 2-man RP onto the Rubik and the Jakiro. Skewer, Arcane Bolt. Enough said. What more can I say? As Phantom Lancer is going to follow up, he will have the Radiance finally, as he has died quite a number of times, but no tier 2s have been taken just yet. There's still a tier 1. And the Scourge have been able to take a tower themselves. So the longer this game goes, when Mag has a Blink Dagger, Arcane Boots, and has a Midas so he can feel his Refresher / BKB Rush, I do favor the Scourge ever so slightly. Despite the Sentinel getting a lot of momentum, they've been able to get a lot of track kills, but the Scourge, troubling enough, are keeping up in terms of kills because of their ridiculous AoE combination. And because of the Arcane Seal, that silence is just ridiculously good against the Puck, and ooh, that is a dead Rubik. Good instant reactions, but just a little bit too slow by the Rubik as he was caught out. Should have stayed a bit further back so he wouldn't get detected, but there was still a Blink Scare, so he probably would have died nonetheless. Meanwhile, we're going to see Jakiro just farming up with a Macro Power. Wants to clear out the wave ASAP, get a bit of more farm, as I think he realizes, well, the Radiance is out. Or the Radiance will be out. He doesn't yet see it, but he knows Phalanx has been farming long enough that he will have the Radiance. And he wants to get as much tank ability. May wants to go into the mech, but Dream Call will be broken by the Magnus. Magnus going to get Dagon out, but Puck is going to chase. Nice jaunt, as Lifestealer is there as well. Lifestealer still has yet to die. Has finished the Desolator, But again, Leicester very weak to Phantomizer in general. Here comes the silence going down. They're going to kill off the puck. Leicester, can he escape? Does he have the Infest? He does have the Shadow Blade, but double sentry is going to be dropped by the Scourge as Leicester trying to escape. Nyx going to armlet toggle. Again, this is not the terribly shitty armlet. This is the Dota 1 armlet, but the Arcane Bolt will be dodged for the moment. The Radiant Sprint still doing a lot of work as Impale was stolen. This is a good Impale because this is, again, not the single unit target Impale, or the unit target Impale. This is still ground targetable in Dota 1. So honestly, it's one of the best non-ultimate spells to steal in the game, but Smoke and Deceit will be popped. Wasn't immediately broken, and they're going to try to rotate to catch the Phantomizer, and they do see the Tranquil Boots debuff. Will they be able to spot the the Tranquil Boots debuff, but Phantomizer going to burn everybody to death. Here comes rotation in Leicester. He will likely die. He's going to use the Infest. Naga Siren, did he catch Witch Creep? They're going to pop right out, kill the Naga Siren. This Nyx is going ham on everybody as Green Eggs and Ham slam, whatever you want to say. Skyrath going to die, and suddenly the Sentinel in a big swing of momentum have a firm grasp on this game. Pacific in a lot of trouble as they're not taking appropriate team fights. They're not going to be up. They're just falling one by one. This will be another track kill onto the Nubian Assassin, and Bounty Hunter is starting to become a big problem. He's going to have the BK up relatively shortly, and this is almost a level 16 Bounty Hunter. Those last 10 or so track kills have all been level 2, and that just gives your team so much extra gold. Death Slayer allowed the Nyx to go in on the towers, and this Nyx pick is just proving to work wonders. The Magnus gonna blink away, but where have the Scourge gone wrong? They're gonna give up another tower. This is the first tier 2, so they're still very much in it. With the Magnus, all you really need is 1 RP. The problem is Phantomizer is still very squishy. They're gonna catch off the Nyx. Can they actually kill him? That's the real problem. Song of Siren will be used. Naga looks like Leicester will have the Rage back up. While when the Song of Siren ends, he's going to immediately pop a go to work on the Skyrath. He's going to get 1 track right off the bat. Going to rotate on the PL. No track, but more than enough damage. A ridiculous amount of burst was more than enough to kill the PL. And now the Scourge are looking in very dire straits. I can make that joke because it's not a pun in Dota 1. Can't say the dire will make very dire straits, or will be in very dire straits. Just sounds stupid. As BKB on the Bounty Hunter, this is what I was worried about. And now Naga did dispel the track. Still not going to preserve her life. Rubik, did he steal RP? I think that was an RP usage. Beyond godlike Nyx with a Reaver. Such a smart response to the Heart. Or to the PL, because AC doesn't really do too much against the magic burn. But Heart will give you so much extra HP, does a lot against the magic damage, and will allow him to mitigate some of the silence. AC won't really do that because their silence, of course, amplifies the magic damage, but the Heart will allow him to withstand that damage, and will just be able to walk in style. Of course, can always keep the armlet on as well. And the problem with Phantomizer is he takes too long. He died a bit too much, otherwise he'd probably have a VIP booster. And Radiance is good, but Radiance just really, in the end, helps you farm and helps you cancel Blink Daggers. Yeah, it's doing quite a bit of work, but now the heroes inside the Sentinel are pretty tank. They can survive enough of the Radiant Sprint where they can just kill the Phantomizer unless the team backs them up. And the large majority of the pressure has to go to Magnus, but he's going to go into a Lothar's Edge. This is not going to be a Battle Fury. This will definitely be a Lothar's Edge. But if these Scourge just keep on top of the Sentry Wards, this Lothar's Edge will be pretty useless, because Sentry Wards to initiate, track to disengage or re-engage. Puck now is a Yule, so he should be theoretically immortal. Rubik has an urn, so he's taking up. He still will die pretty easily to the PL, but Jakiro's going to have a mech, and the mech, I think, is the real game-breaking item in this game, because there's no mech on the Scourge. They're not going to have a mech for a long time at this rate. Their supports are just too weak. They've just been dying way too much to this Lifestealer. And they're not going to have a mech. I mean, who would carry it? Skyrath? Skyrath has... Well, with the mech, he'd have a bit more armor, but he has to survive long enough so he can actually get the mech. And where is the Scourge? They smoked up, I think. Naga Siren with the Medallion is kind of tank, but only 1k HP. Deceptively squishy. Despite having a lot of armor, Magnus going to rotate in. Magnus himself, only 1400 HP. Doesn't have the BKB. As Rick will probably die. He's definitely going to die. Going to get impaled. Going to get mana burn. Going to get hit. But Bounty Hunter now is a gem. Such a smart item such a smart item choice to pick up, especially since Bounty Hunter has the BKB. As BKB was activated during the RP, a bit of a weird wonky animation, but Nagasaki gonna get chased down. That's a track kill. And because Nagasaki Ultimate is channeling, are they gonna chase for the Magnus? Of course they are, but now they're gonna track the real PL. They know it's the real PL, and PL so squishy, gonna die in 4 hits. Gonna see rotation by the Rumen Assassin. Can he kill the Jakiro? Mech was used. Jakiro will die, but it's gonna cost the Scourge their entire team. Nope, Meister won't be able to escape. The Radiant Burn from the PL still quite a bit, but Scythe stuck around a bit too much, as Scythe is gonna get hunted down. So much damage. Come on. Jakiro, are you gonna really deny me the fun of seeing the Magnus die? No. Nike's gonna be able to escape this fun version of Armlet. Too good, as I think he knows that. Oh yeah, the track was still on the Rumen Assassin. So much gold. So much lifesteal. Much lifesteal, so much wow. So good. Kudos to Sentinel. They didn't choose to sit back and farm the lifesteal. Of course, they wouldn't do that. This is Filipino Dota. They're not going to sit back and farm with an aggressive carry. They're going to fight with the aggressive carry. And, I mean, good on the PL for fighting a bit, but it's just such a risky pick. Especially you don't really have the best counter push either. You do have good team fight, but the team fight is not continuous. Puck's ultimate, only 85-second cooldown. Lifesteal can just fight whenever Rage is up, which is the strength of that carry, along with his mobility. Bounty Hunter can always fight. Jakiro only really needs Ice Path. Telekinesis still only a 17-second cooldown in this version. So the cooldowns on the side of Scourge, I think, were just too much. They couldn't sustain the continuous team fights. Yeah, they won some successful team fights here and there, but the Sentinel gank was just too good, and their continuous team fight just too good. They're going to kill out the Nyx. Again, the pitfalls of not going for the Aegis before trying to break the base means that is a huge gold bounty. Only 1k gold, but that was getting up to the Magnus, so this could work quite a bit in terms of getting his BKB, but Magnus started stepping, will skewer the Jakiro at the very least. The Jakiro will likely die, but oh my god, the Puck was able to kill off the PL in the meantime. Neckity drop, Jakiro will die, as that is going to be a Radiant Burn kill for the PL Illusions. Bounty Hunter surrounded by nets, as we're going to see a buyback by the Nyx. He's just going to go in on everybody, does not care, going to go in on the Rumen Assassin, but he's tracked. Spike Carapace wore off. Rumen Assassin's dead. Everybody's dead. BKB gonna dodge the concussive shot. Scythe Rage is dead. This is some cover play of Scourge. They're not actually, the Sentinel are not actually hitting buildings, so all part of the plan for the Scourge. If they're not hitting buildings, they can't end the game, and slowly but surely the Radiant Sprint will get them. But Nyx just says enough is enough. Let's try to end the game. And they will be successful in doing just that. They'll have to face some backdoor regeneration because there are no creeps in the base. All the while, this tier 2 is getting pressured. And Thanos is still dead. He really needs that Vib booster, but he's not going to find the space to get that farm. He did manage to get a Radiant Burn kill, but even with the Vib booster, Lifesteal just eats up more HP. And this Lifesteal has such a big advantage that as long as the track is there, as long as the gem is there, they can still fight, despite Nyx just naturally not being good against PL in general. But the turnaround track Rage gonna kill off the Nami in about 3 hits. And now if the Scourge or if the Sentinel want to play this smart, they're just gonna go for Roshan, or they're just gonna let the heart regenerate up the Nyx HP. Gonna just not even backdoor the tower because his creeps were technically, well, that should have had backdoor regeneration, but interesting. Meanwhile, Phantomancer, no HP, has gonna go for the Manta style. He's a bit tankier. He's level 17, but now Bounty Hunter will be caught out. Gonna BKB his way out of there. Will be able to escape. They're gonna have to spend an RP if they want to kill him. Of course, they're not willing to do that. But meanwhile, just all sorts of havoc breaking out. Brown was killed by the Puck. Meister gonna get yet another double kill. Gonna kill the PL. GG's called. Enough is enough. PL was just not given enough space. Nagasaki gonna cast asleep. So let's just look back on this game for a little bit. What went wrong? Cooldowns, I think the draft. The draft just was not there. I think the Scourge was sort of relying on the Coddle, but they picked up PL in the 4th phase. and they didn't get the safe call 5th pick. If they had the call, they could anti-push a bit better, although Kato's very weak to Bounty Hunter as well as Nyx and Puck. Then Wetzer was given almost a free lane. He managed to get a 22-minute, despite dying 3 times, 22-minute Yasha radiance, which is not too shabby, with only 1 tower to back him up, which is that bottom tower, so not the worst farm on the PL. So what went wrong? The draft, because of the cooldowns, because of the ganks, and this Bounty Hunter pick did more work than I thought. The Puck had such a good early start, so even though he died 3 times after getting the dagger, the fact of the matter is he still got like a 13-minute blink dagger, which is just way too fast. Magnus did a lot of work, but there's only so much Magnus can do when he's level 11 or levels 1 through 16, because the RP cooldown only 120 to 110 to 100, which you only get at level 16, the 100-second cooldown. And PL just couldn't find the space, so even though PL does very well against the Nyx, the tracks were always on the correct PL. Good identification by the Bounty Hunter, and PL just couldn't really ever get going. So I think the draft was just not there. I think the rotations by the support, I think Naga should have just sat back and pulled a lot rather than roamed and gank. And yeah, they kept up an even kill count, 8-8. But the fact of the matter is that I think Jakiro and Rubik can function a bit more with Alisix rather than the Naga. So that's sort of why we see Naga not picked nearly as much in Dota 2 anymore, because Naga is very much a level 6 support, and Skyleth Mage was just food. In the end, Nyx pops Rage, Skyleth Mage is dead. Puck pops anything, Skyleth Mage is dead. If Skyleth Mage is not going to get the initiation onto anybody, Skyleth Mage is dead, which is the problem with Skyleth Mage support. So that's going to be it. More games coming relatively soon. I think there's only 2 or 3 more games left, so thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.